So I wanted to ask you about both of these as a way of thinking about this question: how do we recover a vision of the good? I think that's the worst thing about the Age of Hitler ethic, is when you swap out a vision of the good for evil that you want to avoid, it does impoverish your moral system. And we need to recover a common sense of the good as a culture in order to stay coherent. The first one you write is the progressive secularist, and you encourage engagement with older religious traditions. We've seen notable people, even Richard Dawkins, who's been a lightning rod for 25 years now in these debates, migrating towards cultural Christianity. He gives an interview before Easter last year saying, I'm a cultural Christian. I value all the things that we have in this Christian culture. Do you think this is a net good? Is this a vision of what you're hoping for on progressive secularism, dialoguing, seeing the good, seeing some of the advantages to people of religious faith and tradition?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I maybe should feel more ambiguous or nuanced about this kind of thing. I think it's great. I think that sense of engaging deeply with a tradition, of recognizing that you come from somewhere, whoever you are, wherever it is that you come from, which doesn't mean that you need to swallow that tradition whole or any one part of it. The point of these traditions, and I mean this is as true of, maybe more true of Christianity than of any of the others, is that they're incredibly plural, varied, deep. You can find your way through it. If one person tries to tell you that they have the only and the definitive version of it, then I suggest you watch something else on YouTube. They don't belong to any one person. I would, my Protestant self again, I would even want to say they don't belong to any one institution. So I'm not saying that means that I agree with Dawkins about everything. He's a fantastic writer, but I'm really pleased to have him as part of the conversation in that sense. And that feels to me like quite a constructive moment of recognizing that instead of arguing about metaphysics the whole time, which is what he's mostly seemed to want to do, we're actually going to move on to questions about how you live, which actually seem to me to be much closer to what Christianity is about. There's a lot more about that in the Gospels than there is about metaphysics.
Right. I think I'll go maybe a little bit further than you do in the book. I don't want to speak for you, but as a pastor, I think one of the really big opportunities in terms of engaging people with a progressive or a secularist worldview right now is shifting from the question, is it true, which we've been from an apologetic standpoint, we've been beating that drum now for 2 generations, trying to prove to people that it's true. I tend to think now the better opportunity is to show them that it is good. It's a good vision of the world. There are praiseworthy things. There's things that you love here. And through that, you can connect back to the tradition.
I would, add to that, without wishing to go all Plato on you, the other dimension. Okay, true, fine, good, yes, but also beautiful.
Absolutely. I think this is the next question we need to be asking is, back to the moral compass thing. I think as a culture, we're much more confident in things that are ugly than we are in things that are beautiful. So, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Our appreciation of beauty is subjective, but we're pretty good at figuring out what we think is ugly or undesirable in a culture. And that is an impoverishment. I think getting back to a vision, which Christians have, of what is beautiful and what is good, is one of those possible common ground points for constructive dialogue.
Yeah, and recognizing that beauty is not simple or straightforward, but that doesn't mean it's imaginary either.